Thank you for returning to Business Doctor. We discussed about listening and communication when I met you in the last video, and I also suggested to discuss about competency in the upcoming videos. I hope you would have practiced some of the tips I discussed with you, not just the past one, whatever we discussed so far in the last 10 plus videos. Nevertheless, to be more easier for you to learn further, I wish to give you some more insights and tips on the listening and communication. As you now know, communication is a dialogue, spreading a message in a way that it does not become an argument rather. So it becomes a message. Message has got a content, and content is sent by the sender and it gets received by the receiver in a right way or for the intended purpose. In the digital world, what happens is that people try to send a message, which does not mean that it is a communication, though it could be a communication. But if the receiver doesn't respond, or there is no conversation or dialogue between the sender and the receiver, then it won't become a communication in a normal sense. Suppose I send you a message and I am expecting you to reply back, for example, on a content like what happened to the particular task, or whether you have done this or not done that, or what is the status of something. What happens is that if you see and you don't respond, then it won't become a communication. Or I send a message and I didn't care about what your response was, then that also is not a communication. So when I communicate, when I send something to the receiver, so obviously I need to listen to what the receiver says back to me, which is like an anticipation. You need to anticipate for about a response from the receiver. Then it gives the wholesome meaning to the conversation or the communication. Otherwise, what will happen is that it gives the other person that you are not serious about the conversation or the intent of the message which you sent. Then the whole system will get into problem. So with that tip on communication, we just also discuss about some of the tips related to listening. When you say listening is also a hearing, but hearing with an understanding, with the comprehension that is required. There could be an explicit message or an intended message. The communication comes along with that. And if I don't listen to that with the explicit and the intended, that's the crux. Sometimes people will just listen to the explicit message, but they may miss the intended message. The intended message need not be as explicit. It could be tacit, it could be hidden, it could be conveyed in a message in a way that it is not so obvious, but at the same time the sender says that better you please understand this. Then you have to internalize meaning it has to get into your mind, you have to think about it, then respond in an unambiguous way. That's where the right choice of words come in, and we discuss about how to remember how to do those kind of words. Again, in a digital world, this is again giving you a different space altogether, so that the sender or the receiver can have a quick opinion about the other person. So in the listening skill, when you are posting a message, you have to be clear, you have to anticipate, and what the receiver says. And you need to have that anticipation with the kind of curiosity to hear. Otherwise, what will happen is that you will just listen, you will understand the explicit message, you will understand the intent. But since you don't have a comprehension or an understanding or internalizing of that, then it will be very difficult for you to construct the word and reply it back to the receiver, or sorry, to the sender. So when you are listening, you have to understand what is the signal and what is the noise. When I say signal, when you are tuning into a particular frequency, say in FM, from 0 to that particular frequency, you will hear a lot of other channels plus noises when you traverse across in a radio set. But you are particular about a particular frequency. So till then, any other message or any other sound is a noise to you. But when you reach that particular frequency which you want, then you start tuning to that. Your mind gets tuned to you, your curiosity, your anticipation, everything gets hooked on to that particular frequency. That way, that is the signal. So when the sender is sending a signal or a message or a communication, that person is trying to tell you something, okay, which is only possible if the receiver, that is the listener, has got that kind of an aptitude to understand what is the other messages or other signals or other noises, take it off and hooked on to the particular message, intended as well as the explicit message. Then it becomes a mindset. Okay, we will see these kind of mindsets in the coming videos, but for you as of now, it should give you a good understanding of how to communicate, how to listen, how to respond back to the sender. So with this, we now move on to the other subjects in the self-improvement area in the coming videos. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Cheers.